Oh, isn't that the worst sound? Good evening and welcome to another episode of Experience Bar, where we're turning video games into cocktails. My name is Jack and I'll be your bartender this evening as I show you how to make a drink that will please even the pickiest of dwarves. Sunshine from Dwarf Fortress. Let's get started. So to begin making sunshine, we're going to need to make a very common cocktail ingredient called simple syrup, although we're going to be making it with one additional ingredient that, well, I'll explain at the time. Let's get started. For this one, to make simple syrup, it's dead easy. All you need is a saucepan, half a cup of water, and half a cup of sugar. Pop that all into a pan and put it over a low heat, very low heat. You do not want this to boil, otherwise you will ruin your syrup. It'll take about 10 minutes for this to finish up and combine nicely. Stir it if you want. I tend to find you don't actually need to. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for this to combine, let's talk about sunshine, just a little bit. Like all alcohols in Dwarf Fortress, sunshine is made from a single ingredient, sunberries specifically. And interestingly, sunberries actually exist in real life, but you're not likely to find them in a fruit stall or a grocery, because they're nightshade berries. Yeah, you eat the wrong sunberry and you can end up being very, very sick. Eat the right one and you're treated to a lovely, rich, tart, blackberry-like flavor. So in lieu of poisoning ourselves, or at least having the chance of poisoning ourselves, we're going to be substituting sunberries for blackberries instead. Specifically, blackberry jam, half a cup of that. Once you're, oh, isn't that the worst sound? You want the extra pectin in there to thicken up this drink. Just add it right in. You don't have to wait for your sugar to finish combining with the water if you don't want. If you're feeling a little impatient, that's absolutely fine. But this one, you are going to need to stir. You got to give it a bit of a helping hand to actually break down all of that. And at that point, you just got to leave it for a bit, let it combine, let it cool, strain it out, and then you can use it in this recipe. But in lieu of you guys watching me wait for this to finish, I've made some beforehand. So all of the ingredients that we're going to add now are just going to be enhancing our baseline flavor of the blackberry. So to begin with, you're going to need a shaker, 3/4 of the way filled with ice, and 2 ounces of brandy. I'm using a standard French brandy. You can use cognac if you really want to, but don't feel that you have to. To that, you are going to add 3/4 of an ounce of our sunberry syrup and 1 egg yolk. I am really sorry, I haven't found a way to make this drink without the egg yolk, so if you're vegan or just don't like the idea of raw egg in your cocktails, it's not really gonna work. If you guys have a suggested alternative, let me know in the comments below. I would really appreciate it. So 1 egg yolk, no white, in there. You're also going to need chocolate bitters, but we're gonna add that in a moment. In the meantime, let's shake this. Great. We're now going to do another shake, but first we have to discard the ice. And once we've done all that, we're going to give it a shake again. Oh, that's a bit of a long one. And I am not doing it as hard as I normally do, because I don't want it to explode all over my face. I save that sort of thing for the weekend. There we go. And now that you've completed what's known as a dry shake, we can strain this out into our vessel. Make sure that you've got one that's quite a, I suppose, wide top. Otherwise, what we're going to do in a minute with the bitters, it just won't look quite as good. Strain it on in there. And make sure you get some of that lovely eggy foam on top. And now comes our final ingredient, the chocolate bitters. I'm using Fee Brothers Aztec chocolate bitters. Highly recommend it. Fee Brothers does good stuff. Now, if you don't have a spray like I do, you can just dash this on top like blomp blomp. Maybe do a bit of bitters art with a toothpick if you're feeling fancy, but you don't have to. But me, I like to be a little bit extra. So using a stencil, pop it on top of the drink, grab your bitters spray and just spray it over the top like that. Lift it up carefully, and you will see in the close-ups that we've got a nice little sun right here. And there you have it, that is the sunshine. And there you have it, that is Sunshine from Dwarf Fortress, a drink based on blackberries, well, sunberries technically, but built in the real world with blackberries. Thank you so much for all of our patrons for making these drinks happen, in particular Chris Meinke, our bar regular of this episode. Cheers. So this is a very sweet drink, right? We're making regular simple syrup and then adding extra sugar to it, making it really rich and thick. It almost tastes like custard, I have to say. It's like the brandy and the egg yolk coming together with the chocolates added in. It's like a dessert in a cup. It's delicious and worth trading even with the elves to get the berries for. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed yourself as much as I have. I've been Jack Stone. This has been Experience Bar. You can join us on Twitter, on Facebook, on our subreddit, on our Discord, on all of the socials. If you guys are there, we are there. If you've got a suggestion for a game or a cocktail, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more drinks like this, head on over to our Patreon. Our supporters get access to some pretty cool D&D books and some Witcher books, and plus you might get a chance to get a shout out in every episode. So thank you so much for joining me. We're creating new content every couple of weeks. Hope to see you then, but until then, cheers.